Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Black-Liberation.Tech Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Renée Jordan, and today we're going to try something a little different. I know that there's a lot going on, and even though it's different, it's still familiar for those of you who have been with me since the beginning. I'm going to start off today by reading a blog post that I posted today. So my blog posts are on Jordan Nuance LLC. You go to blog and you can check them out. This is the first one in a good while. I'm very excited to share, and instead of stumbling over my words, I'm just going to go ahead and get started. So let's go ahead and give it a read. Success, celebrating the wins. I do want to point out that this image was generated by Gemini. I was able to get a description based on the blog post from Janiyah GPT, which can be accessed on Jordan Nuance LLC, as well as Black-Liberation.Tech. Black-Liberation.Tech is a product of Jordan Nuance LLC. Black-Liberation.Tech is my open educational resource that you are allowed to use, remix, make it your own, get ideas, and you can even just go through it based on what you're interested in and as much or as little detail as you care to do so. Once again, let's go ahead and get started. Success, celebrating the wins. All right, so here we have, for those who are listening, I'll read the caption for you. A dynamic AI literacy workshop environment where students actively engage with technology as a thinking partner, collaborating, exploring ideas, and shaping their learning in real time. Note, this image is a representative illustration and does not feature actual participants from the BYTES AI Summit workshop. Okay, here we go. 4 years ago, I began building Black-Liberation.Tech, an open educational resource designed to support after-school programs for girls and their mothers, centering Latinas, Afro-Latinas, Black women, and girls. What started as a vision rooted in my dissertation has grown into something far greater than I imagined. With the support of generative AI, I've been able to expand lessons, design content, and develop tools at a pace that once felt impossible. What might have taken 40 hours to build alone can now be developed in a fraction of the time, without sacrificing depth, intention, or cultural grounding. Even more powerful, this work now lives bilingually, expanding access and reach. And yet, what makes this journey most meaningful is that the foundation, the research, the lived experiences, the stories, still guides every step. The work then is still working now. So, what's the latest? I had the honor of facilitating my first in-person Janiyah GPT workshop at the BYTES AI Summit at Georgia State University as a part of the Atlanta Science Festival. From the moment I arrived, there was a sense of energy in the room. Students, families, and educators moving between stations, curiosity in the air. Many thanks to Dr. Natalie King and the BYTES AI team for the invitation, the warm welcome, and the seamless execution of a day centered on hands-on learning and community. What does an AI literacy workshop for students actually look like? At the Shape the Future AI Power and Youth Station, a Black-Liberation.Tech experience, students didn't just learn about AI, they engaged with it. So let's set the scene a little bit. Large monitors illuminated the room, while multicolored LED mice and keyboards cycled through smooth electric pulses, waves of red, purple, blue, and green flowing across each station. At the front, my screen, Janiyah GPT in gold, stretched across two HD displays, reflecting the same energy radiating from students' stations. Voices calling out ideas, fingers moving quickly across keyboards. In that moment, technology felt less like a tool and more like a shared experience, one the students were actively shaping, not just consuming. Together, we explored how AI works and, more importantly, how to use it with intention. Students interacted with Janiyah GPT as a thinking partner, not just a tool. engaging in real conversation about bias, safety, identity, and opportunity. Because this space wasn't about consuming technology, it was about shaping it. How do students learn to use AI in real time? The middle and high school students came in already familiar with tools like ChatGPT, which meant we didn't have to start at the basics. We started running. As I projected a live example on the screen, students called out ideas. Add this, ask her that. What happens if you say it like this? I copied, pasted, and refined prompts in real time, modeling how to think with AI, not just use it. And then something powerful happened. They noticed the difference. What makes Janiyah GPT different from other tools? The students didn't just engage, they analyzed. They compared their experiences and named what they felt. It's like Janiyah has more spirit. I don't know how to explain it. She's professional. Her responses are thorough. She said, "That's a great idea," and wants to help me develop it. I told her I wanted to get into criminal justice, and she gave me ways I didn't even think about. With chat, I have to keep saying, no, not that, this. I didn't have to do that as much with Janiyah. Every time she responds, she says something about Black excellence. See, that moment, that's the work. When students can feel the difference between a tool and a thinking partner, between generic output and culturally grounded guidance, that's digital literacy in action. How can inclusive AI design impact all students, not just the intended audience? What made the moment even more powerful was that the feedback didn't just come from the intended audience. A male student, someone outside the primary group this work was designed for, paused and said, "It's like Janiyah has more spirit. I don't know how to explain it." He went on to point out how every response included something about Black excellence. That moment confirmed everything because it showed that the difference wasn't something you had to study to understand. It was something you could feel. The design, the intention, the cultural grounding, it translated beyond its target audience and still resonated. That's when I knew this is exactly why I built Janiyah. What questions should students ask AI to think critically? As the session came to a close, one student shared that she didn't want to leave. She wanted to keep learning about her future. That stayed with me. And when I asked what they learned, another student repeated a question we practiced together. Did you miss anything? This was the final prompt I encouraged every student to ask. Janiyah, is there anything important you might be leaving out? Are there other perspectives I should consider? Because that's the goal. Not just using AI, but questioning it, expanding it, thinking critically alongside it. How do small moments shape meaningful learning experiences? As a small token of appreciation, I gave each student and volunteer a Black-Liberation.Tech chapstick, something simple, useful, and memorable. In the middle of laughter and conversation, one of the students joked to another, "Because you need it?" And I couldn't help but laugh and say, "It's something we can all use." Moments like that, light, joyful, human, are just as important as the lesson itself. What impact can culturally responsive AI workshops have on students? This workshop was more than a milestone. It was a reminder that this work matters. That when we create spaces where Latinas, Afro-Latinas, Black women, and girls can explore technology as themselves, something shifts. Confidence grows, curiosity deepens, possibilities expand. Time well spent, a job well done, and we're just getting started. Why does this work matter? This work matters because access alone is not enough. Students need experiences that affirm who they are while expanding what they believe is possible. Janiyah isn't just different because she includes those traditionally left out of conversations. She's different because she centers their experiences and affirms them in ways that help everyone learn, grow, and expand what they believe is possible. Okay, so that was the blog post. I do have a few Q&A here. I'm going to answer these more so live. what is an AI literacy workshop for students? An AI literacy workshop for students is going to be one that captures the essentials. And the essentials are going to depend upon the ask. So, what are you being asked to share? At this particular workshop, the leader, Dr. King, she wanted to make sure that the students had a chance to work with her and actually practice on her. And so, in order to prepare for that, I prepared some prompts that go along with the theme of the BYTES AI Summit and STEM focus and AI literacy. And with that, I decided that a career exploration would be a good place to start. And for those who already had experience with ChatGPT or another generative AI tool, they were welcome to explore based on what they wanted to do. I did not hold them to what I was doing and what I prepared. But at the same time, because I prepared, I modeled what I prepared for them so that they could see me carry it out on the screen. And I also asked them to insert what their interests were inside the brackets. So while I had things prepped, I included space and time for them to actively ask me questions. Now, before we got started, I did run through a few things that are important for people to consider, regardless of how familiar they are with ChatGPT. I did talk about how AI is impacting us in everyday life, whether they knew it or not. So I did ask them to start, okay, so how are people using AI? And they were able to tell me about algorithms as far as social media and determining what gets pushed into their feed. They were able to tell me about searches and what information comes up when you do a search. And so from that point, I also shared how it's used in hiring decisions. We discussed how it's used in college admissions. So pushing the students' applications to the front, if you will, based on who is most likely to do well at the school. Also, what content gets amplified. That was something that they talked about. And so what shows up online when you do different searches. We also talked about financial approvals. So whether somebody's buying a house or a car, AI is there in the decision making. Additionally, it also, going back to the social media piece, it also pushes what stories get told in the media. And I asked them what were some things that were trending on their timeline. And I shared that America's Next Top Model was one that was showing up on my timeline. And I also pointed out that it's going to have an impact on what communities are represented in data. And so I talked about how in some communities, it's reported that there's high amounts of crime, while in other communities, police aren't even allowed to write reports because the people in that community don't want their property value to drop as a result of crime rates going up in their community. So that's what our AI literacy workshop included. And we also touched on some safety measures. I encouraged them to verify and then trust, meaning that they need to check out what the AI produces for themselves, do another search, go to an edu, go to a .org, go to a .gov, go to a trusted website, go to the library, and make sure that the information is correct. We also talked about PII, so personal identifiable information. We want to make sure that they don't send Janiyah their social security number, and someone asked, well, what will happen? I said, well, I won't get your social security number, even though I developed Janiyah GPT. It's going to go all the way back to the OpenAI folks who developed ChatGPT, and then it's going to get into their system, and you don't want it to pop out as a response to somebody else's question. So you don't want to put in information that is private. You don't want to put it in proprietary information. So if they want to sell an idea or a design or something to that effect, they might want to keep some things to themselves. And then we got started. With all of that being said, thank you for listening to another episode of the Black-Liberation.Tech Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Renée Jordan. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and share, rate, and review the podcast to help it become more discoverable. And until next time, take care. Bye-bye.